And I do believe we're now live. Welcome, folks. Nori Noodle, come here. Come say hi to everybody. Jean's not here. Jean didn't show up, so come say hi to everybody. What you did? Nori Noodle came to say hi. Welcome, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Check out Plastic People. Camera angle number 2. And camera angle number 3 will be the tail layer. It's following you. It's following you. 0G, welcome in. So, all right. We are working on the VZ bot once again today. We're going to start with, okay, she's moving around too much. Noodle, hi. We're going to be working on the Toolhead. So, starting with the Goliath hot end, the belting for the X, Y, AB, whatever you want to call it. You're going to eat stuff, so I'm going to put you in your cage. Yeah. I'm just about to drop a new model on printables. What are you working on, Dark Third? What are you working on? Why does it seem like, there we go. OBS was not like clipped to the side of my screen like it should have been. How's everybody's Sunday going? Starting quite a bit later today. You're early, it's not 1:30 PST yet. There's an easy fix, by the way. Stop using standard time. Listen, I would love to not use whatever time, but I don't have control over that. Hope the workshop build's going well. Thank you, Millennium Machine Works, for the super chat. Appreciate it. And is that what? Why is it? Chat's always so strange for me sometimes. Anyway, thank you so much for that. Workshop build. Honestly, I haven't touched the workshop. Been too busy in the tattoo shop lately. Waiting on approval from a sponsor to get a new video out. I wanted to have it out today, working over there. We'll see if we'll get to that. I don't know. Question, are you still needing a granite marble slab for squaring up frames? I'll be in Oregon City around 7 tomorrow. I can give you mine. Thank you, Deanna. I appreciate that. And yes, I do need one, but I wouldn't be able to come over and meet you tomorrow. I've got to get to the studio and freaking paint, and I'm not looking forward to it. Are you doing all-wheel drive and water-cooled? I am doing all-wheel drive, not water-cooled. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to get over there. Well, definitely not at 7. I'm not that early of a riser these days. But I appreciate it all the same. So yeah, we are not the tattoo shop, my bad. Got it. Yes, tattoo shop's going fine. Haven't made as much progress as I'd like to. The usual. Everything takes 10 times as long as I want it to, but yeah. Need a 360 rad with RGB. I haven't designed what I'm going to do for water cooling yet, but it'll be something along those lines probably. Because why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? I'm trying to think. I'm foggy today. I needed to sleep in this morning, so when I saw that Daniel and Steve were co-streaming, I was not upset about the idea of delaying my stream till afternoon, you know? So, all right, we're working on the VZ Toolhead and belting. So, this bit. Yeah, daylight savings, it never falls on a good day, I feel like. All right, we're gonna need M3 by 6 screws, 4 of them. And would I say this is harder or easier than an LDO 2.4? As an experienced builder, kind of easier. As an experienced builder, kind of easier. Instructions, not so great. So, like, I'm using my own understanding of how to build things You know, so like it's hard for me to say. The gantry comes pre-assembled. That's such a time saver, but you have to partially disassemble it to put the frame together. It's like there's a bunch of weird things. The instructions are not amazing yet. So I would, if somebody was asking me whether or not, if they'd never built a DIY printer and they were asking me to build a 2.4 or build a VZ bot, I would say build a 2.4. So I think that's probably my answer. That camera looks too dim to me. Let me brighten it up just a hair. That's better. That's better. Cool. This is a new kit. This kit's existed for quite some time. This kit's existed for well over a year at least. How long ago was it that Daniel and Steve built theirs? It was over a year ago. Yeah, it was over a year ago. There might have been some minor changes to the kit in that time, but yeah, they did it back in end of 2023. So yeah. Yeah, it was back at end of 2023 they built theirs. So all right. Let's switch to the tail air, I guess. We're looking at these printed parts here. Not printed parts. CNC. Most of this tool head is CNC aluminum. So we've got you were a Mitsu tech. What haven't you done in relation to cars? Work in a regular body shop, I guess. Fuck, I'm gonna lose the gloves. I was cleaning up a little bit before stream. So yeah, but I was a Mitsubishi technician. That was my first job in the auto industry, technically. Was a Mitsubishi technician. That was back in 2005. So if your Evo 9 in your name is referring to the Evo 9, I was a tech. I was a Mitsu tech when the Evo 9 was new. I love those cars. Love those cars. But yes. So this is one of the parts we're going to be starting with. Yes, sir. 9MR SE. Nice. Nice. I always wanted I always wanted the stripped down one. Now that the name's escaping me. It's definitely a dream to one day like restore an Evo 9. RS. Thank you. RS. Yes. That's like one of my like bucket list cars, to get one and like legit restore it. Just like do a serious clean rebuild, minor tweaks to the motor, nothing crazy. Yeah. Mitsu Tech must have been a busy lad. Honestly, I worked at a Ford Mitsubishi dealership. Ford folks had a lot more going on than I did. Is everything included with the Mellow kit? Hot end? Yes. No. Everything is included in the Mellow kit. It's linked in the description. The Mellow kit, that is an affiliate link, of course. But it is trying to optimize software for tool change for 2 days, only to find that there are fundamental problems. I have to revert everything. Oh, that stinks. Sorry to hear that. But yes, everything is included with this kit. I don't think there's anything you have to. There's a few printed parts you got to do, but big part of me wants to do an Evo 9 EV swap. Oh, I don't know if I'm okay with that. Living in LA made me hate driving. I only enjoy sport bike track days now. Otherwise, give me a robo taxi. Meh, that's fair. I don't drive that much, so like, These days, I don't leave the studio much, you know? All right, so we're going to start with, where's that upright piece? Oh, right here in my hand. You've got this upright piece and this back piece. Sacrilege to EV swap Evo. I do agree with that. Let's go to the tail air. So this back piece and this CNC upright are going together with this behind the bracket. So I need M3 by 6s. The screws look like they're freaking flatheads. They are, but they're not. I have flatheads. They gave me panhead, flathead, whatever you want to call them. They gave me a few, but they are M3 by 8, and this is calling for M3 by 6. So I'm hoping that this is one of the points where the instructions are accurate, because this is supposed to be the instructions for the Mellow kit, and it just probably minor changes over time, whatever. It's just not 100% accurate. Zoom in a bit. Okay. I think I can brighten up the image now. I had to turn it down. Cool. Okay. Little Loctite on some M3 by 6 screws that are going in here. Always wanted a Lotus Exige, but the dealer said they're brutal on. Yeah, I mean, Lotuses are just tiny to fit in. I think I'm just too darn big for one. I'm only 6'1", but like that always. I think they're rad little cars. I just don't even know if I'd fit in it. And anybody I've ever seen get in and out of one, I've never like done it, get in and out of one, but anybody I've seen do it, it didn't look like fun. Getting in and out of the car. The car itself looks like fun. There's a little bit of give in these holes. I wish this was aligned and keyed a little bit better. Lotus equals daily yoga. Yeah, I need to get back to doing daily yoga, so Evo build when. Happy to come help. When I make that YouTuber money that supposedly exists out there. If anybody ever finds where that YouTuber money is, love to know. All right. So I need a cable piece, strain relief piece for the tool head. Sure hope I printed it. I'm fairly sure I printed it. There's not that many printed parts for this, so it's kind of easy for me to get a little lost in what I did and didn't print. There's our cooling duct, part cooling duct. There's our shroud for the fan. YouTuber money goes to Google. Yeah. I did a printed one of these pieces, but they sent a CNC one. The support for the cables. I'm just pulling out the pieces so I have them if, when, as I need them. All right. Ugh. Toolhead strain CPAP strain relief thingy breaks easy. I thought about printing it in TPU. I had considered printing it. Andrew Rogers for working hard or hardly working fund. Thank you very much. Super chat is appreciated. It really helps out. Thank you. So this strain relief piece here is what we're talking about. I had considered printing it out of TPU. I feel like that would make sense to me. And maybe I still will. I've actually got TPU loaded up on the Core 1 right now. So here's the CAD model, what we're talking about, this piece. I printed one from my buddy's VZ. It's still holding up. HT Okay. So there is the piece we're talking about. This little strain relief piece that holds the CPAP tube, the feed tube. I feel like TPU would really make sense for that piece. I don't know. I don't know how well it'll print in TPU, but I have. Oops, sorry. Let's check. This is in the Core 1. I just printed belt clips on the Mark IV for this. ClickCat is officially printable on live on printables. ClickCat. Is that one of those like key switch clicky prints? Where do I have that file? VZ-bot, Toolhead, CPAP, cable holder, was it? Yeah, it's cable holder. Does that use the same motors in CPAP? It uses the blower fan from CPAP. It uses the blower fan from a CPAP unit. That's why it's called CPAP. So the blower fan from a CPAP unit is the part cooling fan in this build. So that's why it's called that. I don't know where the focus plane is on this right now. It's like there. Yeah, okay, really in there. I always print that part with the holes in the build plate. Yeah, that is one of the things that not thrilled with the VZ-bot is unoriented parts. Do not care for... some parts just aren't oriented. Some focus plane is somewhere. Yes. Just DM'd you a mod. I will take a quick look. Whatever on Twitter. Tweet. Yeah. Flap controlled CPAP. What's that? Oh, so like the I got you. So similar to the HT90. Standard CPAP. What's the flap controlled CPAP? Okay. Where, show me the mod. Yeah, like the HT90. Got it. Okay, that's intriguing. I'm definitely going to want to look into that. Oh, look at that thing. Oh, I'm curious about that now. Did they release this in any way? I don't see it. There's no link to it. Yeah, well. Something to look at later. Something to look at later. I think it's going to be a major ADD off the leash day today, so bear with me. All right, I'll look at that later. Yeah, I'll done that as well. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, whatever. I have this printed part. If it breaks, I'll reprint it in TPU or something. Play with that at that point. For now, we've got the part we actually need to keep putting this together, so let's do that. Here is our little printed clamp piece, and it goes on the back side of this. I can see how this would be fragile. I really would like to have remixed this or spend a moment on it, but I just printed it as was. I think it was a point where I was like over remixing parts for this. I just like, you know what? I'm done. Unlike Steve, I will put Loctite on this. And there is a printed part involved, but I'm gonna put Loctite on. Oh yeah, this was a little misalignment. Like I'm sighting down it and it was crooked. Kind of is crooked still. Little crooked. Yeesh, that's bugging me. Oh well. Oh well. Okay. I think the valve spot needs to go up just a hair and out just a hair. How are you liking the Core 1? I am loving the Core 1. It has been my most used printer as of late. Loving the Core 1. Yeah. So far, so good. Don't get me wrong, there's a few things I would like to change. Steve, sorry I didn't realize you're streaming or would rate it over. It's fine. I appreciate the affiliate support. Thank you very much for that. So, yeah, so far so good on the Core 1. I'm quite happy with it. I threw my stream together last minute, Steve, because I needed to sleep in this morning. So your stream, you and Daniel streaming, was kind of a bit of a godsend for me. I was like, I could really use some sleep anyway. I'm not going to go up against them. All right, now we've got. We can't fully assemble this till we put it in the machine, but I'm going to start assembling it on the bench here, then move it in there. Never cross stream. We cross stream all the time. Never cross streams. Okay, I got it. That joke took a second. That's how tired I am today. Error. Critiques of the Core 1. So far, critiques of the Core 1. Firmware needs a little tweaking. I ran into a homing problem with it. If the belt tension isn't just right, the sensorless homing will just freak out. Allen delay, yeah. So if the belt tension isn't just right, the sensorless homing will just sit there and keep banging the head back and forth, trying to home. And it's really annoying. And then it'll like do an error shutdown and scream at you, a warning, telling you to check belt tension. I just retensioned them this morning. I've done it twice since I've had the machine. So when I got it, I think belt tension was slightly off. And it only got worse as it broke in. Happens. And now, just this morning, it went out of tension again. So it probably broke in a little more. And so, yeah. Fickle, yeah, Core XY, fickle with sensorless and belt tension. Totally agree. I am not a fan of sensorless homing. I do think Prusa has got it as good as anybody, but I'm still not a fan of it. So there's that. And another firmware thing is it like nozzle probes a couple of times and then like purges to clean the nozzle off before it homes, before it bed levels. And every once in a while I get a nozzle cleaning failed warning and I have to restart the print. And then it just does it. I know that there is an updated firmware in the works that's supposed to address both of those issues. Is it a steel belt? No, it's a standard GT3 or GT2. I'm pretty sure 2 GT, whatever the Gates belt. And my only other critique so far is I want carbon filtration. I think I have run like 2 PLA prints. I just ran my first TPU print, and every other print I have done has been ASA. And I'm kind of shocked and amazed how much it doesn't stink. Hard to explain. Other machines without filters will stink up my studio. That one doesn't, shockingly, but it also doesn't have a filter, and that annoys me. And I know what they're going to do, and I don't like it, because it's what they've done on the XL. Is I know the XL's chamber filter dumps the air outside of a chamber. I hate that. Keep the air inside of a chamber. One, it actually scrubs more because as the air cycles through the filter over and over again, it has more chances to be scrubbed. And two, it keeps chamber temperature up. I have the XL's filter set to the lowest speed it can go so that it dumps as little air out of the chamber as possible. And I'm planning to design a duct, because where it is, I kind of can do this, design a duct that magnetizes to the enclosure and like blows the air back into the chamber. And that's what I'd like to do on the Core 1, but I basically have to take one of the fans for the chamber fan off. Do you not just flip the fan? No, the fan is completely outside of the enclosure on the XL, so there's nothing to be done about it. Love the bento box. Yeah, I like the bento box in my X1. The problem is that with the core one, because there's so little internal volume because of those step-ins in the side, there's nowhere to put a filter. I'd have to like lose one of those sides and put a filter in there, which I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about like removing one of the internal ones and creating a filter and auxiliary part cooling setup. Yeah, replace the side panel with a bento, yeah. Or even mount like a poly dryer to the side of it or something, get heat chamber heating going. So, I don't know. But it gets great chamber temperature. I'm not worried about that. I just don't want to dump the air out of it while I'm printing. I heard they eliminated the indent on the sides already. That was a mod somebody made already. One mod was to eliminate the indent and put the spool on the inside. I don't personally like internal spool holders. Just me. I don't care for them because you... I think some kind of jacket with magnets would be cool to bump chamber temp up even more. You know, Josh, I threw a moving blanket over it one day just to see what it would do for chamber temps, and it didn't make much of a difference. Now, granted, I should throw a couple thermocouples in there at different points in the chamber and check temp, because the thermistor is mounted with the fans on the back. So it's like tool head height. So it's going to get the warmest temperature readings, most likely. But that thing easily gets over 55 Celsius, 50 to 55 Celsius on a regular basis, printing ASA. So, insulated jacket with denim on the outside, the Canada mod. Yeah, so I already have the GPIO hacker board on there. Towels on the Mark IV enclosure makes a decent difference. Yeah, I need to play with it more and see. My first thought on what to do, the thing that makes the most sense to me, the easiest thing would be to remove one of the two fans on the back that blows the air out and just make a charcoal filter that like just blows the air back into the chamber. That's my first thought, is take one of the fans out and just leave the other fan so that it blows through carbon and then back into the chamber. I don't know. Don't know. Okay. This little piece. I still think the main reason for the GPIO board is to make a respooler for the MMU3. Maybe. I have it on there. I have done nothing with it. Okay, M3x6 goes into this. Our carriage plate. So this is our main tool head carriage plate. I feel like that camera is drifting downward. And this is what's going to mount to the carriage rail. Nice to catch you live. How's the build been so far? So far, so good. Like, it's by no means perfect. The instructions are a little spotty. But, Carrie, welcome in. Yeah, the instructions are a bit spotty, but I can fill in blanks. And it's going as smooth as I would expect it to go, really. Or could expect it to go. Los Inc., welcome in. The funny thing about chamber temp is there's no standard for where it should be measured, because people assume, maybe I'm filling in the blank here, most people seem to assume that a chamber temp reading is just a chamber temp reading, and they don't realize how much it varies depending on where you measure. Because yeah, like my 2.4, I've got two chamber temp sensors in there. One is mounted on the gantry and one is on the bottom. And they'll be 20 degrees Celsius different between the two. So yeah, You are right. That is kind of a thing. Okay. So we got that plate on there. There's a bottom plate that goes on here with 2 more M3 by 6. I didn't use up all the M3 by 6s already, did I? Yeah, I did. So I feel like I'm missing something here because I used up the M3 by 6s already. And it's calling for more of them. And the pictures show panhead M3 by 6s. These are M3 by 8s, but they're not labeled. Here's more. That looks like extra hardware. Ay, ay, ay. Domenico, all right, have a good one. Thank you for stopping by. Long chat soon, I hope. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more M3 by 6s, but they're calling for more. These are... Where's my calipers? Double check, but these are 8s, I'm fairly sure. Yeah, those are 8s. Pour them all into black sock. Yeah, that makes sense. Those look like 2.5s. Where are these then? What are these? Well, here's some extra more 6s. This is where LDO is way ahead on their kits. Absolutely true. Yeah, hardware organization is really important, and I keep meaning at the beginning of every build to dump out all the hardware into like bins and label them. I did it. The only time I've ever done it was the Trident that Steve and I built at East Coast Rep Fest. Is the only time I ever did that, right? Like took Harbor Freight, part organizer bins, bolt organizer bins, and organize the hardware before the build. And it made our lives so much easier. And I've never done it since. And every time I do a build, I'm like, I should do that. But I don't. Yeah. One of these. This is my extra hardware, but this is socket head M3s. I don't know. Glad I got my Voron from LDO. You should be. Like, I know it costs more. I know that stinks, but there's a reason it costs more. Okay. Now I think we're going to have to put this onto the machine here in a second. Where are the front uprights? Oh, here they are. As we're building this portion, we're going to have to put it on the gantry in a second. There's an X end stop switch bracket. I have the bracket. Or do I? I don't see the bracket. Let me grab the box of hardware. I think it's either a printed part. Oh, that's not cool. I did not realize that. The end stop switches on this thing aren't wired. They're just end stops. That's annoying. It's fine, but I dislike that about kits that come with wiring. If you're providing a kit with wiring, provide the kit with wiring. Don't provide Don't provide like a switch I need to wire. Provide it pre-wired, please. So where is the wiring for that then? what wires am I supposed to use? Because I've got these wires, but they what I'm supposed to use? Motor cables, fans. Yeah, what wires am I supposed to use for that? It's the only wires I see that came in the kit. It's just this thin, looks to be about the right size, black and red wire. I'm just going to use it. I don't know what else to do. I guess we're going to quickly break out the soldering iron and solder on some cables, some wires to the end stop switch. It's annoying. It's annoying. Do I have this printed piece too? I wonder if I printed that. It looks like a very quick, easy print, but I don't see it. That's the Y end stop. I'm going to need that probably not too distant future. Screw on the print head. And here's like where the instructions again fall down. Install this, assemble all this, fine. Screw on the printed cable holder for the end stop switch. At no point does it say anything about the wiring. Doesn't tell you to solder cables to there. It doesn't say anything. It just shows you putting the switch on. It's whatever, but annoying all the same. You have to read between the lines. Yeah. It's a Bluetooth switch. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad. I mean, I've got those Mellow wireless switches. I wonder if those will work. Wonder if those will work. All right. Strip off a little end of this wire. Where's the op spot looking here? Right about there. Checking, trying to see if I can adjust focus a little bit here. I think I'm at the minimum focus distance. That's a little better. All right. Little switch held in our little jig here. I assume this is the wires I'm supposed to be using. I have no idea because there are no other small enough wires that I see in this kit, which I do not care for. At the very least, if you're gonna like make me solder wires, I would sure like them to be the proper length already, because there's 3 end stop switches on this build, and I've just got this one chunk of this black and red wire. So if you're gonna do that, please like trim it to the, you know how long it needs to be. If you've ever built one of these, I'm sure it's a consistent size. So pre-cut the wires. Pet peeve. Pet peeve stuff. Don't mind me. Just pet peeve stuff. Why is, oh, my soldering iron's not on because it's not plugged in. I need to set up, I've been meaning to set up a like dedicated electronic or electrical workbench. Yeah. I robbed the power cord from this recently for something else quick, and I forgot to plug it back in. But yeah, I've been meaning to build a like dedicated workbench for wiring and such. I'm going to need to consume every bit of that caffeine. Things I didn't expect to be doing right now. I also don't see the printed part for the X end stop switch, so I am going to print it. But here's a question for you folks, because this part is not well designed for printability, I would say. I guess I can see one orientation that makes sense, but find in browser. The switch mount. Not what I want. 3D printing. VZ-bot. Let's just save it here. Whatever. Save. I built my VZ-bot VZ-330 some time ago, 100% from CAD, model viewer. You basically learn to wing it. And I'm fine with that. I wouldn't be bothered. Here's my pet peeve. Here's my problem. I'm cool with building something from CAD when I know that I'm going in building something from CAD. When you sell me a kit, a Mellow kit, complete, has every single component you need to build it, and there are instructions, they should work. They should go together. What parts you get should be in the instructions. Like, those things should exist together. Putting a kit out into the world and not really having instructions for it, not a fan. It's not, if it was a beta release or something, that's where I'm like, yeah, I self-source, kit should be documented, especially at that price. That's where I'm at. That's it. Like, if I were self-sourcing, 1000%, I wouldn't be griping about any of this stuff. So that's it. Okay, so let's take a look at this. The X end stop switch. I don't see this being, I don't see it in the CNC parts. There's a CNC Z end stop part, but I don't see the X. Oh, there's also a Y. So there's an X and a Z CNC machine parts, but I don't see X. That's strange. But anyway, so what print orientation would you print this at? Because that requires support. Maybe we just print it in each orientation, because this orientation makes strength for an end stop switch. It's going to be triggering this way. So I'm just going to turn on, let me paint on supports quick. I don't like turning on auto supports ever. Then we'll clone this, add an instance. If I add an instance, it's probably gonna, yep, I thought so. Split, separate as objects. Okay, now I can reorient you. Because this orientation makes way more sense for printability's sake, but not part strength. I don't know. I'm gonna try printing both. It's not a big part. It won't take long. Sometimes I'll do that when I just can't identify a print orientation. I will print it both ways. Preheating the Mark IV. It's already loaded up with the Galaxy Red PLA, ASA. Should be plenty strong enough standing up. I would assume it would be too, but I don't know. What I am going to do with it standing up real quick, as I'm looking at it, since it's like there's a lot of leverage to it, I'm going to paint on supports to these little corner chamfers. I don't think it needs them, but I'm doing it purely for stability. It'll act as a brim on those areas. Generate supports, not auto-generate. How fast do you plan on homing? I don't know. It's a VZ bot. Everything should be fast. You're set to defaults. Yeah, okay. So 4 perimeters. Boop, boop, boop. I really need to like create a profile. I have like the same settings I change in Prusa Slicer every time, and I just never bother to create a profile off of them. I don't know why, if it's laziness or it's just like I don't feel like going through and picking my profile per. I think part of it is I like slowing down and thinking about what I'm doing. It makes me be intentional about choices, is what I mean. Okay. That looks fine. I'm not logged into Prusa Connect because that happens all the time. I don't know why. It constantly knocks me out of Prusa Connect. Log in, going through my authenticator because it's not just logging in. 780. Cool. All right, send to the Mark IV. Nothing's easy. All right, sent. And now I messed with that so long, the soldering iron heats up and then cooled down. All right, back to the soldering iron. An unwise British man once said, "Power homing." Yes. Exactly. That is exactly what I want. I want the Clarkson level of homing. All right. 1 wire soldered. Need to get to bed. All right, Maurice, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you making an appearance. That was a weird way of saying appearance. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Sorry for the later stream today. Clearly, I need it. My brain is so foggy. I was up till 3 a.m. trying to get the video for this weekend done, but I'm still waiting on sponsor approval to get it released. So it will come out when it comes out. Recently got a TS-101. Love it. Yeah, I should really get one. I love my base station, but I don't know. Anytime now. First one soldered beautifully. This one's fighting me. All right. Bit of a ball of solder on there, but I don't care as long as it's well attached. Doing my least favorite part of Death Racer assembly, track. I was lucky. My track went together beautifully. I'd take a well or two, no doubt, but they're pricey. Yeah. Honestly, but I use it so darn much. For me, anyway, it was not a hard justification. So. For me, anyway. I'm going to trim off just a little excess of these pin tabs on the end stop switch. All right. It's not hard, just tedious. Yeah. I'll give you that. It is that. It is that. Okay. I wanted to leave the machine out of the way as long as I could, but we got to put this all in the machine now. So, time to pull the frame up here. Time to get the frame up here. All right, just gonna get like screws kind of organized before I pull things up and lose track of everything, though I still will lose track of everything anyway, despite my best efforts. Quite certain of that. Quite certain of that. Where's the Goliath? I just had it. CPAP, there it is. Goliath. Ugh. Anybody who hasn't seen this one, the hot end we're going to be going in here, the Goliath. Serious freaking hot end. Serious cable coming off of it. Long boy, yes. Yes, long boy. LSD. As one could say. Did used to say. All right. Frame time. Frame time. Get the frame up here. Steve is not wrong. This thing is starting to get a little cumbersome. It's getting a little cumbersome at this point. It's not awful, but it's not amazing. I think we'll switch to this camera angle. Try and get a view down the barrel. There we are. Focus. And brighten that image up just a hair. Okay. A VZ-bot seems so fun to build and faff about with, but gotta get my feet wet first with a Trident or a V0. I highly recommend that. I highly recommend that. I agree. I agree with doing that. Get mess around with one of those first. Okay. Now, the Toolhead gets mounted with M3x5 screws. I know I have M3x5 screws in inventory somewhere. Oh, here's the M3x6 panheads I was supposed to be using. Dang it. I didn't find them before. Couldn't find them, but here they are. So I just assembled all those parts with the wrong hardware. Yay! I have an Ava set up on my Mercury 1.1, and I don't love it. Seems bigger than it needs to be. Yeah. Next time use a black socket method. You're not wrong. I'm trying to remember. I have a VZ Toolhead for my Mercury 1 here somewhere. Somewhere here I have a Mercury Toolhead, a VZ Toolhead for my Mercury 1. All right, I'm going to swap these screws out one by one. It's annoying. My fault. I didn't look for them enough. I didn't look for them enough. It's my fault. Okay, quick swap. Quick swap. Quick swap. That's backwards. Wow, that almost seems wrong. I do not like that. Now I'm going to swap to these screws to the pan heads that I believe they're supposed to be. These two on this bracket are so close together, they rub as they tighten in. And one of them tried to loosen the other one because, like as one's turning, clockwise, it tries to turn the other one counterclockwise. It's interesting. That's interesting. That's better. Yeah. Panhead is definitely the right shape of screw for the rest of these parts. Hopped out of Steve's stream to grab lunch, come back and Mandix live. Yep, welcome in. Thanks for being here. LTX Designs, welcome in. Yeah, it's a stream day, I guess. I mean, you got not only Steve, but you got Daniel, you got the cats, you got little Jackson. I mean, it's a day. Nori was here earlier. She's snoozing in the cage behind me now. Helps if I actually take that screw out of there before I try to replace it. Okay, now we're back to where I wanted to be. So we got to put the toolhead gantry setup on here, but it calls for M3x5 screws for the screws that go into the carriage block. He'd get me tomorrow, but way too late for me to stream today. Thanks for stopping by anyway, Jake. Have a good one. Get some sleep. I could use it, so get some for me. I'm going to try these M3x6s because I just don't see M3x5s. Yep, 6s are too long. This is tightened down. That's tightened down all the way and the carriage is still loose. So there's got to be M3x5s here somewhere. We found the M3x6s, so the 5s have to be here. Question is, where? The question is, where? 3x8, 3x8, 3x6, 3x10, 3x12, 3x35, 3x12. Okay, not there. Magnets, those dumb corner pieces. That just fell out of a bag, annoyingly. Maybe there was random, and this is another thing I dislike about kits. If you're going to do a kit, put all the hardware in one place. Do not spread the hardware between packages. Because like when you put 90% of the hardware in one box and then like 10% in another spot, nobody knows to look for it. Okay, here are M3x8, M3x16, more M3x8. Springs. Ah, there they are. M3x5 pan heads. Found them. And that's exactly what I mean. They're in a totally different bag that's completely unlabeled. I don't know where this bag came from. But like there's a bag labeled M3 screws. And like this bag. M3 screws. But they weren't in the M3 screw bag. You know, like having a fastener kit, a toolhead fastener kit, and a MISC fastener kit? Yeah, the toolhead screws that I needed for the carriage plate were in a MISC it's unlabeled, so I'm assuming it's the MISC fastener bag. Yeah, no, I don't. No, I do not like that. Shock and awe, how strange of me. But no, I don't care for that. Okay. Let me see if I can get a closer view with that second camera angle real quick. Brighten it up a little bit. You know what? 1 second. I'm going to go crazy with this. I'm going to swap lenses real quick. Sorry. You're not even seeing what I'm doing, I know. But I'm swapping lenses to an even closer, tighter view. And focus. That I'll take. I like it. A little more focus, and then I will be back. Let's see how that looks. Let's see how that looks. Could still be brighter. All right. Let's go with that. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Wood fill PLA is the devil, clogs every time. Heard 0.6 new. Yeah. You need bigger nozzle than 0.4 when using wood fill. Some wood fills can do it, but for the most part, 0.5 or up. Never used wood PLA. Did have a hell of a time with some marble PLA recently. I had some marble PLA that acted up on me recently. I've been told, yeah, I don't know a ton about materials, like the actual science of them. To my understanding, marble PLA is PLA with particles of PETG in it. That's what, or ABS, one of those, probably ABS. That's what the marbling like material is, just a higher temperature material suspended in the lower temperature material. And that's why it can cause clogging issues, because you get if you're only printing at 210 Celsius and a chunk of ABS that wants to be melted at 250 hits the nozzle at 0.4, boom, you get a clog. Okay, those are the right size now. Give that a little better tighten. All right. I really got to get new hex keys. They're starting to feel so worn out. This LTT screwdriver bites in better than my hex key does. All right. All right, all right, all right. Is that end stop switch? Still printing, a couple minutes left. My Mark IV is just sitting on the floor right now. Poor Mark IV has been relegated to the floor. Poor Mark IV. Since its bigger brother took up residence. Zachary, welcome in. Okay. Well, we can put the front standoff pieces in here a while. So there are these little standoffs that go in these corners, which are also the belt holders. They have slots that the belt go through, which I looked into how they belt this, and it's such a strange design to me, but we'll get there soon, probably. I've noticed that Protopasta prints 10 to 15 degrees lower than other PLAs. I also noticed that. I actually print it like 20 degrees lower than typical on my on like the XL and the Mark IV on the Prussias. So I printed a bunch of the Protopasta when it came to that the RC build, the 3D sets build. That's all Protopasta. and I was printing at like 195. I usually print PLA at like 220, 215. But to get it to print well, I had to be down like really cool. I think on the XL, I might have even had it down to like 193. Uh-oh. We got an error on the Mark IV. Thermal runaway. Uh-oh. What are you doing? Well, the Mark IV made the decision for us. I was wondering whether to print it in the lay flat orientation or a standing up orientation. It completed the laying flat one, but not the standing up one. It had a thermal runaway on the bed in that time, which it could be the fact that it's on a concrete floor directly next to the garage door. The chamber's probably pretty cool. So anyway, it decided for us. We're getting a lay flat version because the lay flat one printed. So the Prusa made the decision for us. Okay, one of those little leggies is in there. Now for the other one. You can tell Manic used to build cars, starts screws by loosening that before starting it. Yep. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Always back thread a tiny bit. Always back thread a tiny bit just to get a good set and start on the thread. You are not wrong. It's one of those things I wouldn't even, I don't even consciously think about it. I didn't even know I'm doing it till you just said that, but I believe you. You can feel it drop into alignment. Yep. Yep, you feel it drop into its home. And that's how you know to start. Is the start screw by loosening not standard? I mean, it should be. All right. Front legs are on. Make sure they're good and tight. Good and tight. All right. Apparently not. All right. Okay, we got that printed piece now. So I guess I can put the end stop switch on it. I just gotta get it off the bed. I don't want to wait for it to cool down. Give me it now. Printed okay on support. It printed okay on support. Printed okay. It's so bright you probably can't see. But surface quality's meh, but it'll be fine. So, okay. Where did I put that end stop switch that quick now? Look for the red wires. There they are. Now I need some screws. What size screws are they? 2x8s. 2x8s? Yeah. Okay. Where are my M2 screws? I know I saw some. I know I saw them. I also have a whole box of them right next to me. Probably just grab my own. Two by eights. Have my own self-threading. Just not even going to bother digging. Not even going to bother digging. I have them. Screw it. Okay. I'm going to put this switch onto this bracket. I get it lined up with that hole. That seems like it needs to be an M3 or a 2x10 screw. It's a little short. I have a big metal sheet. I put the bed sheet on to cool it. Let me know what you think about this idea. I have an idea for something. Because I'm so bad about ripping parts off the bed too quickly. I do it all the time. I'm so bad about it. My Rat Rig 500, I have a new bed for it. When I built it, the bed I felt was a little out of tolerance. So I had them send me a new bed. I'm very tempted to create a little rig, like a power supply, a main board. Nomad, welcome in. When I replace the bed, I'm very tempted to make a rig. It could run Marlin, doesn't need to run Clipper, but like take an old Ender board or something and just like set it up so I could have like basically a bed at like 50 Celsius or something like that. So when I pull any machine, especially since that's the biggest bed I had, 500 millimeter. So any other machine, I could take the bed off out of the machine, put it onto that, and then like have it slowly ramp down temperature to like really ease the print off the bed. And then just put another print plate into whatever machine I need to get running again. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not explaining that very well. I'm really brain foggy today. I feel like I explained that very poorly. Does that make sense? Like basically create a ramp down slow bed. Not an oven, just like the bed itself. So like I finish a print on this. Say a print on this finishes, I preheat the bed, the Rat Rig bed in its own little rig, pop the sheet off of this, slap it onto there. Don't crack the prints off, just like let it slowly cool down. What happens if it cools too quickly? Why the need for slow cool down? I find parts are likelier to warp. Hot shelf could be worth using a Pi Zero and run Clipper for Home Assistant integration to start before print finishes. Saves forgetting not to get used. That's a good idea. Yes, reducing stress in plastic and preventing warpage. I find that if you still have a hot part and you crack it off the bed, it's likelier to warp when it's free cooling in the air versus on a bed. That's my thought. Like a cool down oven, but just the plate. They do that in clay modeling. I mean, it's done in welding too. Like if you're welding cast, you need a cool down, a controlled cool down. I believe casting does it sometimes too, like straight casting. You can even split thin ABS parts over cooling rapidly. Yeah, so. Or just get more 3D printers and leave the part in there. Yeah, well. Points, whatever. There's only so much room for 3D printers. Only so much room. Okay. So, what's next? Switchwire bed comes flat, so you could even slap several other beds onto it. My thought was using the Rat Rig 500 bed because it's the biggest bed I have, so any machine bed would fit on it. You know what I mean? Like, I could take the Rat Rig 500 build sheet off, put it on it. The X400, the XL, any of them would fit. That was my thought. Personally, I have fans off, leave it sit for 30 minutes. Yeah, I would love to. Most of the time, I'm working on a project where it's like one print next. Like I've got to keep prints rolling 90% of the time. So yeah. I've not had any problem with my metal plate at room temp. Honestly, a metal plate at room temp does make some sense too. Even then, at least the parts being held to a build sheet you know, flat, that's not going to hurt. Would a box style food dehydrator work? I don't know. Okay, what am I missing? M3x6 screws for this mount needs to go on the tool head. So this has got to go here. You gotta be careful because this could bottom out onto the carriage pretty easily. Must make sure these wires are snipped back so like the pins on this, they protrude into the slot just a little bit. And so, just gonna trim them a little tooty bit so that they don't hit the carriage plate if I was to adjust them a little tighter. I think you get one of those Chinesium lab ovens for like 600 or 300 bucks. Yeah, I've been keeping my eyes open for a lab oven, just for having a lab oven for drying or something. And like, I want a better dryer situation. So my thought had been to like convert a lab oven into a better dryer or something. Just haven't gotten to it. And I haven't found them. And money's tight. I'm trying to be more mindful about what I'm spending money on. All you need is extrusion and panels to make that idea of yours. Yeah, I've also been aiming to build my own dryer forever. I have pieces and parts around that I started to build one and just never finished building my own like Marlin powered dryer assembly. All right, end stop switch. And the stop switch. I mean, heck, I built my own server rack this week. I'm just trying to keep this as close to the carriage as I can. My PLA never sticks. It does curl up while cooled by the part. Also used color fab PETG. Does not like supports. You need to print really slow. There's a lot in that statement that I... Cool. All right, end stop switch is on there, around with a boatload of wire. Okay, what's next? Struggling with ideas for the glue-on extruder Nomad. I have a method for it, but actually viable without custom machine parts, but I'm just tired. I feel that in my soul. I am thoroughly tired right now, so I feel that. Okay, next piece is the little man. I can't be alone in this. Please tell me I'm not the weirdo here. I see a little stick figure man every time I see this part. Yeah, he's a little dancing stick figure man. Or it makes, you know what it really makes me think of? It makes me think of, what are they called? The little cactuses in, it's a little guy. Yep. The cactuses in Final Fantasy. What are they called? Makes me think of them. You can't see me on camera. I'm like doing the like, yeah. It's the dancing man. Yeah. Gumby. No. What are they called? Final Fantasy. Now it's going to bug me. It is definitely an ADD day. What are they called? Cactuar. Yeah, cactuars. There we go. Cactuars. AKA the little cactus swastikas. Just knocked my microphone off. Sorry. It's the problem with a magnet. Yeah. Problem with a magnetic microphone. I've actually lost one of these magnets taking the dogs for a walk. So. Okay. Now, this gets mounted with M3x6s. I need some M3 nuts to go with it. M3 nuts. I'm nuts for M3 nuts. and 3 nuts. Flailing arm inflatable tube man, yeah. Why do you go for a walk with your microphone? Because I'm basically always filming, and the dogs hang out with me a lot, and they're tiny dogs, so they have to go out very often. So I'll very often take like a 5-10 minute break from filming to take the dogs for a walk so they can go potty and then come back to filming. So like it's very common for me to be like, oh, the dogs have to go out, jump up from here, go into the house, grab the dogs, go for a walk, and come back. So now I make a point of taking my microphone off when I do that, because it was like it wasn't snowy, it was raining when I dropped off, but it happened. This is going to be a little annoying. Can you buy replacements? Yeah, you can buy replacements. It's just a magnet. Baker Viking, welcome in. But yes, you can buy replacements. Luckily, it came with like a few extra in the set, so I just grabbed one of the extra ones and I've been using that. There's a groove that this has got to fit into. A retainer groove for this screw. Start. You'd think this groove would be easy to get a nut into. As the carriage is wiggling around on me. All right, cool. 1. Might want to put your CPAP connection on first. All right, 1 second. Let me look. I'm just following the instructions. So if I'm being led astray, I blame them. I can believe I'm being led astray because I'm not impressed with them. So, heck, they have you belting it before you put the CPAP stuff on. Goes on the little dancing man. Yeah, the CPAP elbow, you mean? This little thing? This little thing? I mean, there's room. There's still room to put that on here without interfering with those screws. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, as I'm looking at this, it's going to be a nightmare. I think I need to belt this before. What I really need to do is belt this before the little man goes on. Because getting to these back screw locations with the little man in place is, for the belts, is not fun. So I think we're belting next. As I'm looking at it, I think it's going to make sense for us to belt it. This is going to be fun. My first time ever belting a VZ bot. There's a bracket on the arms in there. I don't know what you're referring to, Carrie. I believe you. I don't know what you're referring to. Okay, belting time. That holds the pipe. Oh, I've got that on there. You mean this little piece or one that goes on the arms? Oh, I have that. Oh, yes, I do. Error. Yes, I have that right here. I know what you mean. I caught up. I caught up with you. The little man holds the little bracket. Yeah. I don't use any retainer parts for my belts. Just wrap the belt around and double zip tie. I printed the belt clips. And I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to follow the way they recommend doing it. Whether it makes sense or not, I do not have the answer. We're going to find out. I breezed through the instruction video because there's not a belting video or instructions. I also do not love that. The instructions very often point to Simon's videos, which I'm sure for some people is excellent. And this is not a statement on Simon's videos. I don't like instructions that are like, go look at this video. And it's like an hour and a half long video and it just points to a section in there. Give me clear pictures or instructions. Don't just point me to a video. You're going to make a review of this. I don't have any intention of reviewing this. No. I do not have any intention of reviewing it. I'm sure we'll talk about it plenty more, but I did not intend to review it. Okay. So belts needs to go around here. Instruction videos should be very specific and fairly short. Yeah. Like I like that they exist and a supplemental to a manual. Yeah. I like that they exist, but they should only be supplements. Yes, they should not be first line of defense. Projects in Dad's Garage. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Use a hex wrench to push this belt around this pulley. I need my Helga tool. I didn't think to print one before this. I should have. Ah, what the? Okay. What way does it want me to go about this? I'm going to go this way. I'm trying to lose weight. I didn't buy any snacks. Now I'm hungry. Story of my life. Story of my life. Okay. Belt is through front pulley. Where's the... Let's get the the OBS bot into the mix. I might have an angle on this. Hi. Looking up my nose. Bloop. All right. I was tracking on. I do not want tracking. No. All right. So belt is around this front motor right now. Come through. Lovely view. Yes. Come through around this idler. And then the belt. It's an interesting design for how they retain the belts here. Let's see. I have a bit of a view this way. So the belt comes through this slit. And what they want you to do is then take it through here, double it back on itself. And the instructions say to put a piece of filament in there. Which I might as well do. That's what the instructions call for. I'm gonna do it. Grab some filament quick. That's what the instructions call for. I'm gonna do what the instructions call for. They tell you to put a little piece of filament in there. So I know this is probably really hard to see while I stick my fingies in here. So you loop this back around a piece of filament, and then you loop both ends back through the slot in the side of the holder. My limited dexterity, brain injury, way too fiddly. That's why I love zip ties. Fair? All right, that's actually not that bad. You know what though? I forgot the belt retainer. There's a belt retainer clip that I forgot. I could zip tie it, but I'm just gonna redo it and use the belt retainer clip that I was supposed to use to begin with. Oh yeah, it doesn't even want to come out of there. Okay. I don't love the tension that it feels like that's gonna put on one second. My brain's too brainy today. All right, let's try that again. Now, piece of filament in here. Double back on itself. double backed section goes through this slot. I don't love doubling back belts like this, as it creates a stress point in a belt. Now that stress point should not be under load in this design, so that's likely a dumb nitpick, but just a thought. That's clever and all, but sheesh, yeah. Okay, so that's through there. God, that is so, like, nearly impossible to... Because it's black on black on black. This would be hard to film. I kind of regret getting a black machine. They offered either silver or black. I said, oh, I'll take the black one. Kind of regret it. Wait for Mandic to zip tie it. Yes, I know. Let's see how this clip goes on here. This clip that just goes over that doubled end. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hold that end together with a pair of pliers so I can try and squeeze this on here. I think we're going to be zip tying it, Carrie. Because holy crap, that does not want to go on there. Yeah, this belt clip does not want to go on there. Feels like it should be tapered one way, and it's not. I always go silver for visibility. Yeah, I wish I had. Wish I had. Okay. Okay, well, let me look at where will this be. That's what everyone says. Yeah. I want to see how much room there is. Okay, there's more than enough room to get some more belt through there when it's all the way to the size. The VZ Toolhead, they made the Merc 1. We added a chamfer on the belt clamp for that reason. Excuse me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I haven't gotten around to using the VZ Toolhead. I feel bad. Like, it's sitting here. I have it, but I don't have a hot end to go with it. Very fiddly. Can see well enough, or is filming it making it hard? I would, well, yes, filming it is absolutely making it hard. If I was standing in front of the machine, this wouldn't be nearly as bad. But yeah. But yeah. I feel bad that I have that VZ Toolhead. It's just been collecting dust from my Mercury one for so long, but yeah, is what it is. Ay, ay, ay. Get in there. Now trying to shove the extra belt length through is proving a little difficult too. It's coming out of alignment. Come on. All right, the extra length is making this a nightmare. The shorter amount was so much easier. Okay. Now I can stick the piece of filament in now that I got that started. I'm sure the filament is freaking pointless. Once I finish installing CoPrint on my Ender 5, it's going to be Mercury 1 motion system. Interesting. Watch my Mercury 1 build the day it's sick. Thank you. I really need to revisit that machine. Okay, zip tie time. Zip tie time. Yeah, Mercury 1 is an awesome build. I really appreciate that machine. You got Dutch Dude right here in the house to thank for that. All right. Take off the belt clip. I'm just going to cut it off, Carrie, but thank you. Yep. If I'm not going to use it, I don't need to save it. All right. There's There's our 2 zip ties on there now. Fiddly, dumb, and done. I should know not to question you folks when you tell me you're going to want to do this. When you tell me you're going to want to zip tie that, I know you're right. But I got to try and do it the right way, you know? I'll snip this off of here. Hopefully I don't nick the belt. Now it's proper VZ bot. All right. That's printed too well. It's too strong. All right. All right. Didn't nick the belt. Cool. I loved my Merc one, but the enclosure option made me want to get rid of it. Well, understandable. I always intended mine to be a PLA printer, so never bothered me. Okay, now I got to get all the way to the end of this belt so I can feed it through. Just put mine in a cheap Creality tent with LEDs for lighting. Meh. Sure, why not? The enclosure frame we made is mostly for people who want to build it from scratch without buying an Ender 5 just to build it. Reasonable. Okay, so this belt comes through. Now, does it go through the carriage block? Yes, it goes through in the carriage block gap. There's a bit of a gap between this bearing block and the gantry CNC part. Some spacers in there, and the belt's got to get through there. But the belt has a curve to it from being wrapped the entire time. Got my Ender 5 Plus cheap on eBay. Mine was a Micro Center open box. I got my Ender 5 as a Ender 5 Plus as a open box unit from Micro Center. So it was pretty cheap. Have you checked out the Yavoth or Anthead toolhead? I've got an Anthead back there. Anthead right here. I built it just for the heck of it a while ago. I just wanted to build it just to build it. I intend to use this on a salad fork someday. I don't know when that day will be, but I think I'm going to put the Anthead on my next 2.4 build as well. I need a tool head for my 2.4 build with a cutter for the box turtle. So I just accidentally looped this around this back extrusion. I have to feed the belt all the way back out. Dang it. Dang it. It would be nice with a cutter. Yeah, there's an official cutter. It's called the leaf cutter. Cute name. There is an official cutter for the Anthead. So I have an Anthead on my Micron Plus. I love it, but it's so fiddly assembling. Yeah, I can see that. Most things are. A lot of tool heads are becoming kind of fiddly these days. Like all these, like this interlocks that, interlocks that. Like the Reaper's kind of fiddly in itself too. But okay. Let me feed this all the way through here and make sure I've got it in the right place and I don't loop it around something again. I still like Dragon Burner. Dragon Burner's so ugly, and I really don't think the part cooling is particularly well optimized on Dragon Burner. That's all. No, I've got to feed this through here the right. There's not enough room to spin this in here. Reaper is a piece of cake compared to Archetype. Good to know. I kind of want a tool changer just so I can play with different tool heads easily. Hey, that's not a bad thought. Okay. The belt got twisted up on me in here. Let's feed it through here. Teaching Tech has a nice series of tool chain on the SV08. Yeah, he just put out another episode in that. I appreciate that. I love when YouTubers, like, don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of this too. When YouTubers do the I'm taking a break thing, I don't think his uploads have changed in pace since taking a break. Making sure I'm not twisting this belt as I'm doing this. All right. Belts around this pulley. He took off January, which is easy to miss. Okay. I thought he was saying he was taking more of a break than just January. I took off January too, but that was because I was working 24/7 at the tattoo shop. I've still not rested. I really need to take a couple days off. Really need to take a couple days off, but you know, stealth changer when. Okay. All right. Back pulley. There's an idler back here. It's got to go around. Then it goes around the motor pulley. The problem with tool changers is the price. Absolutely. And that's where it's one of those things where people are like, I don't know why there aren't a bunch of cheap tool changers. It's like scale, quantity. That's like that $500 4-head tool changer from Wonder Maker or whatever is supposedly coming. I don't know how they're selling it that cheap. I feel like it's a lost leader of some kind. Box turtle with enclosures, 500 beans. You could buy tool heads for that. I mean, you're not wrong, but like, okay, what extruder are you running? Let's say you're running a G2, a wristwatch G2. What's a wristwatch? A Galileo 2 kit is a Galileo 2 kit. I mean, maybe that $500 price is the Kickstarter, like pre-order stuff. Yeah. Wristwatch G2 is what, $40 a kit? So if you got 5 tool heads, there's $200. Then what hot end are you going to run? Cheapest option absolutely would be bamboo hot ends. Yeah. So bamboo hot ends, what are they? $20 each. So you can use $20 hot end, $20 extruder, but I think it's worth it. But I don't think it's worth it for a tool changer. Yeah. I mean, if we're talking Revos, they're almost $100 a piece, $70, $80 a piece, which Revo is a great option for flexibles and color changing. But I don't know. You don't need 3 more to equal a box turtle. You already have one. Touche. You're not wrong. I don't know. I also don't really see DIY printers are certainly not the cost-effective option for things anymore, but they sure are as hell are cool. 1000% agreed. And I've been saying that for quite some time now. I've been saying for quite a while now that my recommendation is Revo Orbiter because it just works. Yeah. And I think that's what I'm going to do on the next 2.4 build, a Revo and an Orbiter. I do believe that's what I'm going to do with the box turtle and the next 2.4 with the ant head. So I've got a Orbiter 2.5. I've got a Revo Got multiple Revos. Got numerous Revos. I love Revo. I really like it. It just doesn't flow enough. So, like, what combination? Currently, my Revo Orbiter is my Micron Plus is going to have. Yeah, so this is Revo and wristwatch G2. Didn't fall in love with Orbiter. I like Orbiter. I just hate loading filament in Orbiter. That's the thing I don't like about Orbiter. Call me crazy. I'm not a huge fan of DIY printed extruders. I don't blame you. A lot of them are just meh. I've come to like the wristwatch G2 design. I haven't run it yet on any machine, so I can't really say how much I love it. But, okay, so how does the back work? Is the back the same thing? You can get a filament switch for the Orbiter. Yep. You got the runout sensor. It's proven dual drive Orbiter doesn't print as well as G2. Yeah, single drive for extrusion consistency is nice. Honestly, as much as anything, what I run into a lot is I've been taking to like getting set up to do a bunch of wristwatch G2s, but I like running different things. I like running different things because I want to experience and try different things. If I was smart, if all I wanted to do was make parts for YouTube videos, that's all I wanted to do all day long, I would have a fleet of XLs and a fleet of Core 1s or a fleet of Voron 2.4s. And that's all I would have. I play with different machines because I want to try different machines, you know? Love my LGX Lite Pro. The tension repeatability and latching mechanism is great. Loading filament is great on an LGX. I miss the LGX for that reason. So yeah, I don't know. For me, I want to play with different things. I want to experience different things and try different machines and different setups. And yeah, I don't know. It's not. It's a little hard to figure, justify, choose. Okay, how does this back belt go through here? This is where there's no instructions. It's just video time. Simon's got a video on this, but I don't think he really showed the back of the tool head. Oh, here we go. Great. So now the belt comes around the back. This hobby feeds my need to tinker with shit and obsess over what's out there. Same for me. Absolutely same for me. Honestly, for me, as somebody who used to build cars for a living, I used to daydream car builds all day, every day. Car builds are expensive, and you can only do so many of them at a time. Even me doing it professionally, I would still at a maximum build 2 to 3 cars at a time. That's it. And then they take a year plus to build the way I built them. So 3D printers, I can daydream 3D printer builds all day long, and I can build multiple in, if I actually knuckle down and get to it, in a couple of weeks, you know? It itches that ADD brain need for me. I think it was, I keep sidetracking, I think it was Dan from West 3D who put it really well. When you have ADD, 3D printing is an excellent hobby because you get into building DIY 3D printers. Cool. There's an endless possibility of combinations you can play with. So you can do that. Then you get bored building printers. You start making projects, print something. You start printing parts and start playing around with things and doing what you want to do with them. You build a 3D Sets RC car. You build a 3D printed Nerf gun. Then you get bored with that. You go back to building machines, or you work on tuning in the best profile. Like, there's so many different things you can do within just this hobby. It's a dangerous hobby for ADD brain. How would an extruder copy perform? Realistically, wristwatch G2 is as close as we have currently to an extruder copy. It's not an extruder copy, but it's as close as we have. I have really played around and thought about the idea of building an extruder copy. I don't want to have to machine parts. Alan and others, I don't like 3D printed extruders. What's the rest of that sentence? I mean, Nomad's working on that. What did you? I forget what you call it, but Nomads is kind of sort of around that idea. Is around that idea, an extruder, exterior design. As much as anything, I need to find bearings with grooves in them is one thing that I think is missing from like the Galileo 2 type extruder. Because the idler bearings inside of an extruder have a groove in them for filament to guide, and I feel like that's missing in the wristwatch. Or the Galileo 2 in general, or the Orbiter. So yeah, I would love to see the Millennium Mill. Yeah, I got to get the Milo freaking finished at some point. But that wouldn't be very good for grooving a bearing. Okay, so how does this work? Yeah. I'm not doing belt clip. We already figured that out. So you feed that through. Oh, see, I would not have gone that way with it. That's not all the way the direction I would have gone with that. Like, just looking at this. Do you wrap all the way around? Oh, that's why you said I should do this. No. Okay. You wrap all the way around the housing. All right. That seems a little excessive, but it clearly works. Cool. Okay. So I need enough belt length to go all the way around there. All right. Cut the belt length to about there. Let me double check that I'm wrapped around everything properly, routed around pulleys and not losing something here before I go snipping a belt and realize that I have something in the wrong place. Yeah, no, everything's in the right spot. Cool. Perhaps adding friction to reduce the point loading on the belt. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, the idea makes sense. I see why it's done that way. Just not how I would have thought it went. Okay. Sorry, let me flip the... Even if I flip the machine around, it's black on black with a dark belt. I'm sorry. This is one of those things. It's just like, you're not going to see what I'm doing anyway, so I'm just not going to bother to get a good angle on it right now. Okay. Belt is through there. Got the belt through the carriage. Pull it a little tight. I try to preload belts a little bit manually, like pulling on them while I'm putting them in. Just looking to make sure that this is kind of riding where it's supposed to be riding everywhere. I really want to build one of those Frax arms. I was intrigued when I saw them. When I saw Steve using it on stream today, I really want to build one of those. I do really want to build one of those. Okay, zip tie. Vinny, wish the next extruder is available in standalone. Me too, Vinny. Thank you for the super chat. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you for the support. And I will yell at Prussia. You need to sell the parts of this extruder separately. Sell us extruder kits so we can design a 3D printed extruder version. I'll yell at Joseph. Joseph, or Nomad, you work within the company. I wasn't clear. I didn't build one. I was telling Alan that Nomad Galaxy did. Yes, yeah. No. I know he's working on that. Love my Frax arm. Cool. Get these teeth to engage properly on this. All right. All right. Ooh. Wow, that is cocking the... I preloaded that a bit much. It's pulling the whole frickin' gantry crooked on me right now. Oops. I don't love that. Are those not tight enough? Yeah, I gotta loosen that up just a little bit because now my gantry is so crooked. Like 10 millimeters crooked? Whew. Ay, ay, ay. It's an easy 1 hour build. You could probably do it in 30 minutes. You underestimate my level of ADD, sir. All right, I'm going to check these screws for tight because wow, did that just cockeye so freaking bad. Where's a wrench? I have an adjustable wrench here, right here. I think I just didn't want to over tighten the carbon beam on the carbon beam and it bit me. Yeah, that one's not as tight as it could have been. Let me get the right size wrench for this. It's gonna be so much easier if I just bother to grab the wrench that's supposed to actually be there. Oh, that's why I didn't, because it's a 5.5 millimeter. Forgot about that. It's 5.5. Okay. Check the gantry. All right, tighten those down a bit more. Now I'll pull tension. I'm gonna pull this all the way to the frickin' back while I pull tension because it keeps wanting to pull this gantry on me and I do not want to do that. One of those little RC car lug wrenches works awesome on those sizes. That makes sense. I don't have enough zip ties here. Damn it. Couple more zip ties. You know what? I'm going to go all the way to the front. The front's going to make sense. All right, zip tie. Okay, next zip tie. I didn't pre-tension these as much as I'd like because it's just really trying to pull this around. Been helping my cousin with Rat Rig 4 VCore 4500. It feels solid. Yeah, the Rat Rig is a very solid build. VCore 4 is such a freaking solid build. Okay. Belted. One belt. Friendly reminder, drink water. Drink what? What is that? What is this you speak of? What is this thing you speak of? God, it really wants to pull this freaking gantry the second I try and pull any like tension out of this belt. It's wild how much it wants to do that. Don't listen to them. Monster is the way. Yes. I'm almost out of monster here. But I feel like that belt's just way too loose. If you hate your kidneys, sure. I mean, what have they ever done for me? Honestly, I misplaced my water bottle. I've been trying to drink a lot more water in the last year, and I have no idea where my water bottle is. It disappeared this week. I have a really great water bottle that I love, and it disappeared this week, and I cannot find it around the house. I need Ruby to come home and help me find it. They just take the piss. But okay. All right, that's as good as that's getting. Turn up as soon as you order another one. Yeah, I actually just ordered another one. I just got a new one because it dropped it and the lid broke. All right. Okay. Now the second belt. Second verse, same as the first. But now I have a better idea what's going on here. Hopefully that makes it go smoother. Where'd the belt go? Ah, fell to the floor. It fell to the floor. Where'd the belt go? It fell to the floor. Okay. Around this pulley. Yeah. Come on out of there. Belt's falling into the motor hole. All right, all right, all right. This way the belt goes around the smooth idler. Okay, now belt through here. Little piece of filament. Where did I put that filament? Here it is. Little piece of filament. Double this back on itself. Feed it through there. It's way more than I need. Double it back on itself. Feed it through there. Eventually, maybe, kind of. Come on. Getting through this twitty little slot is not fun. There we go. Little piece of filament in there. Get in there. Pull tight. All right, all right. Okay. Now that belt is started. A couple of zip ties on that. Bring that zip tie as close to the carriage plate as I can. Piece of filament needs to sit down in there. I can snip off the excess of it. Cool. one more zip tie. My CR10's making me work overtime on trying to fix things. Upgraded to aluminum bed with 1000-watt silicone heater, then the Pi OS borked, and luckily I salvaged figs. Now the CAN bus needs work. You gotta love how those things just always seem to happen in frickin' droves, don't they, Hansi? Just like things happen in one after another every frickin' time. All right, zip ties tight, boop, boop. Cool. All right, now I gotta feed this belt. Let's pull this back through here, make sure it's not twisted, kerned. Start over, you didn't use the right filament. Dang it. I kind of did think about that. I'm like, well, if you use a piece of PLA, it'll probably get messed up over time. Here, travel moves in the background on a printer. What's printing? Printing one of the handles for my 3D printed server rack on the Prusa XL right now. One of the handles for my 3D printed server rack. Okay, belt is through and around. Missed the idler, now it's around the idler. Okay, over to here, around the smooth idler, and then around the motor. All right, belt through there. Belt round the motor. And belt around a toothed idler back here. Okay. Excuse me. Love the Ubiquity NAS setup. Yeah. One of those 10-inch server racks. Yes, I designed a fully 3D printable 10-inch server rack. Yes, indeed. Yep. I'm looking at this. This belt's going funky because it went around one of the standoffs. Sounded interesting for a second. Ugh. Speaking of drinking water, my voice is starting to get a little funky on me. But yes, I designed a fully 3D printable 10-inch server rack. There will be a YouTube video out as soon as, well, I get sponsor approval. Once the sponsor says the sponsor portion of the video is good, the video will be out. Come on. New beta for Orca Slicer happened. Yeah, that happened. That happened a few days ago, or at least maybe there's more since there. Hit the like, people. Kenny, thank you. Don't know, not slicing every day. Yeah, I only saw a random note. I don't use Orca Slicer a lot these days. I've mostly been using Prusa Slicer lately. I had some lockups on the beta. I installed the release candidate, or the nightly build a week or two ago. So that version of the beta, and I was having some serious crashes with it. How much filament would a 9U rack roughly need? It's only it's modular and prints in two rack units. So sections. So you would have to do 8U or 10U. I haven't done a full account of how much filament it takes. I got to finish the outro of the video after the stream, and that's the section we're going to be talking about, is how much it costs and how much filament it uses. So this week's YouTube video will be all about that. Release of the files, all of that. So he's coming. Sorry, I don't have more than that right now. Okay, let me check, make sure this is like routed everywhere properly. It's around there properly, there properly. There, looks good. There, there, cool. How'd it get twisted in here? Cool. Okay. Is okay to talk about 3D printing in private on Discord? I don't know what the question is. I don't understand. Do you mean like DM me? I really don't check my DMs because I'll just be 1,000% honest. I don't check my DMs very much for questions because then I get bogged down in answering questions and not getting work done. And so I do not have time. That's kind of why I created the Discord. Part of why I created the Discord was so that the community could help each other and it wouldn't be all on me. Because I was spending way too much of my time answering messages and emails and stuff, and I can't get my job done and do that. You know, I don't get paid to answer DMs or something. Like I'm not like trying to be like, oh, pay me, but I'm just literally I can't do my paying work and answer DMs all the time. So I just kind of struggle with that. So sorry to say that I just don't even bother checking my DMs mostly. As a result, I guess ABS or ASA with or without fiber should be enough for a rack. I printed mine fully in ASA, but honestly, I would honestly say PETG or PLA would be fine if it's not running super hot components. But I printed it in ASA just cause. Just send them voice clip replies. Yeah, with ADD, that's the problem. It's the simple act of doing anything, changing modes. You know, like, oh yeah, let me just voice message this. Yeah, but I can't dictate a voice message while I'm thinking about whatever I'm working on. Like I'm doing this belting thing. Let me answer your question in a voice message. Like my brain just short circuits. It's kind of like this right here. When you folks ask me a question and suddenly I go on a tangent. It's just how my brain works that like it just becomes an impedance to my work. Okay, we are belted. For the first time I ever belted it, I feel like that went decently smooth. Any luck finding a marble ASA to print another gargoyle for your driveway? Nope. I have never found a marble ASA. Still not. I like not even hinted, I straight up asked West 3D if they could make it in Ambrosia, and they said they would contact their filament supplier, but I haven't heard. Los Caladazar. Sorry, I'm butchering your name. I assembled a piece of furniture in order to clean up the entryway, in order to take out the garbage, in order to collect the mail. Don't ask me how it worked. Yep. Having ADHD is like having street drag car for daily driving. Doing something different takes effort. Just trying to do a K-turn in a car with cam chop and race clutch. Yep. Or a high stall converter. Yeah. Nope. It's exactly that. It's you're going this direction, any change is going to just totally derail you from that. And I just don't get enough work done on a daily basis as it is. So, you know, the reality of it is, and I've been hearing this a lot more on like TikTok and stuff, take that however you care to. ADD, autism, in reality, they're classified as disabilities. That's what it was. I saw somebody like, how do adults, maintain healthy relationships? They go to bars, they work full time, they pay their rent, and they still have energy left over at the end of the day. How do they do that? And somebody responded, they don't have a disability. I was like, oh, right. It is technically a disability at the end of the day, where our brains work so fast, so hard that we tire ourselves out more, we burn ourselves out more, and we create extra stress that doesn't really need to be there, but we can't help it. So anyway, that dumb rant aside, we're belted now. Yay! Now I can put the little man on, right? I know Carrie said something else I was missing, but I'm going to put the little man back on. I want to put the little man on. I just like the little man. Well, I did not mean to take a ride on this fuel train. Sorry. Sorry. Same reason why I have sessions going through DMs and different apps, 40 minutes of going through on Instagram, and all of a sudden I'm pulled into hyperfocus as I've been absent with my kids. Yeah. And I struggle with that. Like, I forget to take the dogs out. I forget to spend time with Ruby when I get really focused in work. Like, it's a struggle. It is. I've tried that a lot, like emails. Emails are an extremely important part of my business, but I'm so bad about getting lost in them. CPAP pipe holder. Do I have to install? Oh, I have to install that. Oh, I see what you meant now, Carrie. I didn't see. I see now. I see. How does that install? Oh, it nuts on. Okay, that's dumb. Why aren't the arms on this threaded? So the CPAP pipe holder goes on the back of this, but that's silly. This isn't threaded, and this doesn't have heat inserts, so you have to use nuts. Why wouldn't you just thread the arms? Looking for the instructions where they also want to make sure I get this in the right orientation. Let me look at the CAD quick. Gonna have to leave you it. Anzi, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it, as always. Thanks for dropping that bomb of attention. Seriously, thanks for stopping by. Always appreciated. Okay, I had it upside down. So, yeah, it goes down, not up. Down, not up. Cool. What size screws? M3x6, like everything else, probably. It doesn't look long enough. That must be M3x8. You just explained so much about my life to me in 5 minutes than I got in 10 years of therapy. I am sorry for that. But I'm glad I could help, I guess. I get that. I think I'm glad I could help. I don't know. And one of the most frustrating things about all that stuff is bedtime for me. All right, Carrie, thank you for stopping by. Always appreciate it. Thanks for the input as an experienced VZ builder. So I appreciate it. As always, have a good night, Carrie. What was I going to say? I forget. Something ADD. I like to describe ADHD as having a stupid fast CPU with enough RAM. Alan, I'm helping. Yes, lots of us feel it. Okay, I'll take it. I shall take it. The most frustrating thing about ADD, autism, blah blah blah, is skill regression to me. That's the one that's like, I know it exists. I know it's a thing, and it's just so hard to get over. The huge help, I think. The feeling of, I used to be able to do this. Like, how did I used to be able to work 24 hours straight and not be dead tired? How did I used to be able to go to bars and hang out with people and make friends, blah, blah, blah. Like, skill regression is absolutely a thing where we devolve a little bit over time as we age and our minds change the way they work over time. we just can't do the things we used to be able to do sometimes. And it's so frustrating to know that, 10 years ago, I would have been able to like power through this build in a day or whatever, or stream for 10 hours straight or blah, blah, blah. Like, that's frustrating. And that's one that's always been hard for me to like wrap my head around, get over that sometimes, yeah. Like, is this a thing that I used to be able to do better? Am I making it up? Or is it reality? It's reality. Sometimes. Am I giving myself a pass, an easy out? Maybe that too. I think there's a lot more understanding of it nowadays, but not enough people are willing to talk about it. 1000%. 1000%. And I'm lucky in that, like, I work for myself, and like, neurotransmitters are fickle. They are. I work for myself. I get the opportunity to think about these things and not be bogged down by, a boss yelling at me because my brain doesn't work the same. Same is true of mental health in general. Absolutely. If anybody didn't see it, I highly recommend Zyla Foxland just put out an excellent video about pilots and mental health, because her pilot license got revoked because a therapist basically gave her a super misogynistic diagnosis of like hysteria. But she talks about pretty heavily how the FAA is like pilots will lose their job if they just go to the therapist for regular everyday feelings. And like, I would sue the crap out of the guy. It's the FAA. Because actually the guy's recommendation was she should keep her license, but the FAA erred on the side of caution and was like, no. So let me grab it. I thought it was an excellent video. There it is. Copy link, dropping it in chat. Same can happen with physicians, leads to them not seeking mental health resources instead of admitting to mild depression, anxiety, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, her latest video is fantastic. Yeah. Talking to any medical professional is always a huge risk. Yep. They just want pilots to be drunk like they used to instead of getting proper therapy. That's why exactly. It's these antiquated thoughts around mental health. We're like, oh, we need to be, as a society, we need to treat mental health better. But then we have these moments where stuff like that, we just don't. Science Sniper, is it possible for the DM? No. I'm just going to say no. I'm sorry. I didn't look. I'm not going to look. It's for all the reasons I explained, I do not offer DM support. Every once in a while, I'll make some time and I'll just see one that catches my eye and I'll answer it. But I do not offer DM support. It just takes way too much of my time. I'm sorry. I really wish I could. I do. I mean, you folks are what like make me have a job in any way, shape, or form. I don't like saying no, but I have to. Okay. Software industry veteran after 37 years. So after health problems, now forced to retirement. Now I'm a rabbit hole of 3D printing and badger people like Alan on streams. Well, hey, welcome to it. Keeps things interesting, doesn't it? All right, I'm looking. I need ducting. I think next is ducting. So I got the part cooling duct. And so this goes here. And the elbow goes on the backside. Grant is a jerk sometimes, but offers solid advice. That's Grant. Grant is just a very blunt person. It's just reality. It's just who he is. He's unapologetically blunt. Society as a whole wants to care, but in their caring, they make things worse. You're not wrong. we keep talking about improving these things, but we don't actually do much of anything to do so. And then there's like the ever-present, when a guy goes to therapy, people pick on him and like, oh, pansy, blah, 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 like making fun of somebody. Like, cool, they're doing the thing they should be doing. Do I know who Grant is? 3D Musketeer. 3D Musketeer. Where's the spacer piece? I'm missing a spacer piece. There's a gap in the middle of my piece here. There's a gap in the middle of my piece. As I'm dropping printed parts, I don't see it. I think I'm gonna have to pull this duct back off anyway, so it looks like I didn't print that part. Looks like you made good progress. We're making progress. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We're getting there. Mental health care needs to be normalized. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. On a more positive note, I got a 34-inch widescreen monitor today. Cool. I've never been a fan of widescreens, personally, just not my thing. But I can see them. Like, for video editing, it would make so much sense for me to do widescreen. I just never, I don't know, just don't do it. They would make sense for me to do, but I don't. Didn't know skill regression was a thing. Explains why I can't get the drive to learn or do some things. Yeah, it's absolutely a thing. Skill regression is 1000% a thing. I mean, I think it's to a level a thing in all humans, but it's absolutely a thing in ADD and autism. At the very least, we need to end the stigma. Yes, we do. It should not be a warning sign that somebody goes to therapy. It should be a normal, good thing. The only reason I'm not in therapy right now is purely because I can't afford it, which is another indictment of the way things are. Like, there should be some type of program I could go to or whatever, like make it more affordable, but yeah. Yeah. All right. I need to find my beacon mount stuff. The pieces for beacon mounting I don't have handy at the moment, so I'm not going to continue with the part cooling duct. I will deal with that later. I'm also missing the spacer pieces for this. I'm going to have to print those. People were like, people didn't have autism when I was a kid. Look around at all the boom engineers with large model train collections. Oh, yeah. See, you're going to use the old duct. I'm just using whatever the print files I was provided are. I tried not to like... I'm trying to build this as stock. And I'm finding files for this rather confusing. Like, it just is what it is, you know? I feel like skill regression, I used to be able to do turbulence calculations without any lookup table, and now I struggle with the heat equation. You're over my head on all that, but yeah. Gigantic, that's totally a thing. Ruby! Look at that. My wifey stopped in right in the midst of our discussion about ADD and autism. Welcome to it, honey. Our own life discussions in the midst of a stream. So, us. Yes, it is. That is a regular conversation around our house. Are you done tattooing for the day? Cool. All right, I'll call you after stream then. Which, honestly, is probably about another 30 minutes. So, all right, we are on to... Have a good stream. Love you too, Beeb. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by. Everybody wish Ruby a good day. She's stuck in Philadelphia working right now, so we appreciate her to no end. Oh, wait. If she's still here. Nori. Come say hi to mama. Come say hi to mom. She's like, why did you pick me up, Dad? I was napping. Why? 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 I know, baby. I know. You just want to go back to snoozing. Hey, hi, Mom. Bye, Mom. Okay. She just so wants to be asleep. Yeah. Okay. Extruder next. Next up, extruder on top of this. Does the extruder block hot end mounting? I'm confused. Oh, no, the extruder screws in from underneath. Better let me know when you are back in Philly. I have no intention of getting back to Philly anytime soon. You need to see what's going on at Printed Solid. Well, I hope I can make that happen at some point. Thanks for putting up with Alan. Yes, thank you, Ruby. Error. She goes back to Philly because she has more of an established client base back in Philadelphia still. So she can make more money flying back to Philadelphia and working. Also, she has plenty of unfinished tattoos back there. So like sleeves she started but never finished before our move and such. So there's still plenty of work to finish up back there. So she's been going back like once a month since we moved, pretty much. Whoop. Yeah, Nomad, I would love to get back over there at some point, but I don't see it happening anytime soon, very unfortunately, because I need to be intentional about my trips this year. I need to be making money when I'm going on trips, unfortunately. It's basically what it comes down to. I've got a couple things. Like there's one thing I want to go to in May that's not paying me to be there, but I really want to go. So I'm like trying to figure it out. Hendrik in the house. Welcome. Welcome. When I was a young tadpole decades ago, I could keep track of 10,000 parts in the stock and yeah. Keeping all that stuff in your mind. I'll call up Joseph to pay for your flight. I mean, get on it. I got something else I could talk to you about when it comes to that. That we could get Joseph on the horn for. But yeah. I wish I had that pull. Me too. The event in May is so expensive. Different event in May. I'm not going to make that one either. World Conference, I can't get there. Especially for me. That's like $2,000 to get there and back plus hotel. I would love to go to the World Conference. It ain't happening. Would love to. It's not happening. There's no... Doesn't talk about the PTFE tube at this point, I don't say, but eh. I meant Rocky Mountain. Oh, Rocky Mountain. Yeah, that's going to be expensive for you. Not doing open source. Yeah. Yeah, no, for you, Hendrik. Yeah, I would imagine Rocky Mountain would be pretty expensive. I'm considering driving to Rocky Mountain this year. Like it's a pretty long drive, but I could save on flights if I drive and or maybe bring a printer or two. So I'm debating it. It's still a pretty decent drive from here, but it's not the end of the world long. All right, extruder time. So we are using the VZ Hextrudort. Bring a posse, please. I need like one more posse. Vlog the road trip. Vlog videos do awful, but yeah, I could. At least makes it a business expense. I mean, it would be a business expense anyway, the whole trip, but. So yes, we're using the VZ Hextrudort extruder on this build, obviously. Yeah, if I bring any printers, they would have to be fairly small ones. So posi is a possibility. I gotta get my posi built. I wish I could build a salad fork. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that every day until I get to build a salad fork. Because I'd like to bring that. That'd be a pretty solid one to bring. Big plans for posi now. Cool. Posi's after this. Like posi is the next build after this. Like new build after this, that is. It's the next new build after this. I know that. I've still got my 2 Vorons to finish, but the Posi is definitely the next new build. 3.2.5 upgrades, rad. Okay, next is we've got the extruder on there, now we gotta get the hot end on. Our big old hot end's going in next. 3.3 coming soon, cool. All right, so 2.5 by 5 millimeter screws attach the mounting plate. I'm in Seattle the 17th and 18th of May. Hendrik, I will pencil that in my calendar. Maybe I'll pop up. It's not that far from me. I can maybe pop up and hang out. Grab lunch or something. That would be cool. Error. I need my 2.5 by 5s. That's what I need. 2.5 by 5s. Probably in my MISC hardware bag. .5 by 5. Not seeing them. .5 screw. There they are. 2.5 screws. What are you coming to Seattle for? 2.5 by 6. There's only 2.5 by 6. Oh boy. I hope these are the right screws. I don't see any other 2.5s. It's gonna have to be. I'm probably wrong. Probably here somewhere, but I don't see them. All right, and the mounting plate for the hot end I need. All right, the hot end is where? I had it. Where'd I put it? There it is. Goliath. Frickin' huge hot end. Big frickin' hot end. Okay. So I'm going to put one of these in here. Oh, the camera went wild. Let's see if I can get this in here. In frame. So there's a adapter plate. There's an adapter plate that goes on top of the hot end that adapts it to the tool head. Dope. Okay. Where'd the screw just go? Oh, great. I don't know where the screw just went. Lovely. That's what I get for trying to do that on camera. But I don't know where the screw just went. So I'm going to have to find that. There's only exactly as many as I need. Hi, Domino. Domino just popped out. I think she's trying to tell me something. She says it's almost the end of stream, Alan. Okay, 2.5 by 6s are working in this. So I guess that's just something they changed among all the changes they made here. I'm going to have to pop this back apart to put a PTFE tube in anyway. So I might just put it in for right now until I can find that screw anyway. So, see the screw under the bed in the printer. I can't see it from here. I believe you. I can't see it from here. Let me pick this up. Oh, I see it. It's right here, right in front of the printer. Thank you. Printer was between me and it, so I couldn't see it. Printer was between me and it. Woo. I hate that. I see it. It's right there. Thank you, Deanna. Very helpful. So appreciated. I'm just taking these back out one by one and putting Loctite on them. Just to, I put them in just so I could get them, like, make sure I had the right size and things are going together properly. Yeah. Here to help as I can. Appreciate it, appreciate it. Thomas, gotta leave. All right, thank you very much for being here as long as you have been. Appreciate it. We only got about 10, 15 minutes left anyway. So, thank you, thank you. Okay, and then M3 by 6s hold this into the tool head. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach in there with this. We're about to find out. How does this go? I want to see where the wire goes. Where does this wire feed? Oh, the wire's supposed to be facing forward. I think I have this on here wrong. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, no, I have it right. It goes this way. Okay, yeah. It goes like that. Time to stand in the freezer for 10 minutes. Good luck with that. Sounds like a good way to get over an anxiety attack. Speaking of our mental health discussions for the day, if anybody else, as I do, suffers from panic attacks, if you're ever in the midst of a panic attack and you can't really shake yourself of it, shove your head in a freezer. Take a bag of frozen peas or something, put it on your head. Or, I know personally grocery stores give me panic attacks. Like, something about the lighting, the people, I don't know. It's not uncommon for me to have a panic attack there. Atomic warheads during a panic attack. I have never tried that. I don't hate atomic warheads. That's not a terrible idea. I can see that. Well, it's like, I think it's the strong stimulus making your brain focus on something else. Slow the heart rate down. That makes sense. I just know it worked for me. An ex of mine who suffered from panic attacks a lot more than I did clued me into that method, and it really did work. The threat of nuclear extinction kind of accelerates it. Yeah. Listen, the way the doomsday clock is ticking down, just go for the ride at this point. We're just all along for the ride right now. Too real. Sorry. This is for work purposes. It makes sense for anxiety relief. I'll be sure to forget that in 2 minutes. All right. There's no PTFE tube in there right now. I'm planning to take this back apart off stream and just, go over a couple of things. Okay. The only thing missing at the moment is the fan shroud. Fan shroud on the fan. Where did I put the fan shroud? I have it here. Also received my Flexi Spot leg, so that was fast. Putting the 4th coat of poly on my new desktop now. Didn't you just order that? Or am I thinking of somebody else who just ordered the Flexi Spot leg? I actually just put a Flexi Spot desk together yesterday. They sent one over for Blackthorn, and that's actually the sponsor of this week's video, is Flexi Spot. So, I literally, in my ad for Flexi Spot, it took like 2 days to get here. Rad. In my ad for FlexiSpot, I literally said, people question how if YouTubers actually use the things that they talk about. And when it comes to FlexiSpot, I 1000% do. So, yeah. Put a sticky on it to remind yourself there's no PTFE. I've forgotten to go back and do it before. You're not wrong. I don't have any stickies handy, but you're not wrong. I usually would use a piece of blue tape for that, but all the blue tape's over at Blackthorn too. Okay. What am I thinking about? The fan shroud. Here it is. Fan shroud. Hot end fan shroud. All right. Where's the hot end fan? I know I pulled it out. I thought I pulled it out. I really got to refinish this desktop too. Got me thinking about polyurethane and coating and blah, blah, blah. I need to do that. And of course, every time I think about that, how come the cooling ducts are so far from the nozzle? Because of CPAP. It's adjustable. The height's adjustable. I just have it up right now. It actually doesn't... I think it actually is supposed to be not too much farther down from that, but it's adjustable. So I just have it up right now. There's a slot in the back where for the bracket that mounts to, and then there's a couple of spacers that go underneath here that tie up into the bottom. Do a water test, set the height properly. Probably. Maybe you could. That would probably be a smart way to do it. I think there is a set height. I just am not bothering for the moment, is all. Just not bothering for the moment. Oh, that's what's missing. I don't have the thermistor in there yet. The hot end thermistor I don't have in. It comes separately. It's PT1000. It looks like a hardened steel nozzle too. Or maybe a tungsten nozzle, I don't know. Pick this up a little bit. Speaking of my FlexiSpot desk, let's bring the desk up a little. All right. And our PT1000 thermistor, I'm gonna get a little bit of thermal compound on this. What size nozzle? I assume 0.4, but I didn't see a notation. I assume 0.4. Oh, I should have put this thermistor in before I put this in here. Oh, so I want to squeeze a little bit of thermal paste into the hole where it's going. Don't mind me. I'm just getting a view so I can actually freaking thread this in. As I steady the machine with my head. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, you saw it. Okay. I'm glad somebody saw it. I missed it. Cool. All right. Thermistor could use a Titan, but so does the nozzle. Also, the nozzle's just hand tight in there, but... Bloop, bloop. All right. Thermistor's in there. Does it say? Oh yeah, it does. Good eyes. It says 0.4. I missed it. I will almost certainly put a 0.5 CHT nozzle in here. I know I've got some hardened 0.5 CHTs around. Yeah, should 0.6 be default? I think 0.5 should be default in this, personally. A little bit better balance between 0.6 and 0.4. I know I've got a 0.5 CHT, a couple of them around here, and I'm quite certain one of those will end up in here. CHTs probably throwing good after bad. I find CHTs really don't work that effectively on super high flow hot ends, but who makes 0.5 CHTs? Bondtech. Bondtech makes 0.5. Like genuine CHT comes in 0.5. It is available. It's just not common, but it is available. So, yep. It's available in Volcano version and regular. So, just built my LDO 2.4, having a little trouble dialing it in. Learned watching Steve and Daniel. The Rapido Fiber came with a 0.4 and a 0.5. Oh, so the 0.4 is on my desk, so I'm trying to tune it as a 0.4 with a 0.5 nozzle. There you go. You got your answer. I didn't know that was a thing either. I have the Next G Fiber here somewhere, and I'm curious if that came with a 0.5. Them talking about that made me think about that. You don't have to put thermal paste on a thermistor, but you do need to do it between the heat break and the heat sink. Yes, but it doesn't hurt. I put it on thermistors because why not? Like, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to insulate. It's a thermal conduction thing, you know? I use it on thermistors, nozzles. I usually would put it on threads of the nozzle, but I know I'm going to change the nozzle in this before I actually push filament through it, so that's why I didn't bother right now. But yeah. I think that's where we're wrapping it this time, folks. We've got the tool head not complete. There's still a duct that goes on here with the fan. I don't see where I have the fan right now. It just clips onto the heatsink. All it is just a little pinky ring. Just clips on there. And then the fan mounts to it. Seems like, God, that seems like mildly insecure for such a fast printer. I do intend to swap this to water-cooled. So eventually this will become a fully water-cooled machine. I will have water-cooled hot end, extruder, motors for the all-wheel drive will be water-cooled, and probably stepper drivers too, because they have those stepper driver, the different 5160s from Mellow that have water blocks. So eventually. But that's not right now. Right now it's going to be air-cooled. Right now we're building it the way it comes. Did I misplace a bag? I'm looking for a hardware bag for these screws I have in my hand. So I need to clean up so I can finish filming for this week's video. All right, folks. I think that's where we're going to wrap this one. Domino came in here looking for attention. She thinks it's time to eat. And I don't blame her because I'm getting pretty hungry myself. So I think we're going to go take a walk, call Ruby, check in on her day, and then do DINNER. Thank you for the therapy session and 3D build tips. You are welcome. Thanks for coming along with me on the therapy ride. Thank you for coming along with me on this ride. I appreciate it, folks. Y'all let me rant and ramble and blah, blah, blah. It's got to be an adventure. I don't know. It's an adventure in my own head. I know that. All right, folks. That is it for the VZ-Bot Build 3. I mean, next time I think we're going to be putting panels on this thing. I'm fairly sure next is the back panel and the bottom panel, and then we start building out the electronics box. We are not far from pushing plastic. This build's going pretty smoothly, pretty quickly. I'm not mad about it. Not at all mad about it. So normalizing it here is the first step. And honestly, that is legitimately, Ruby and I actively decided that in my content, we would not shy away from discussing these things because we want to normalize it and get people like you all here, you know, you can relate to some of the stuff I'm talking about. And like, yeah, that says air hug. Thank you. So yeah, that is an active choice we have made. So appreciate it. Come here, Noodle. Let's say bye to everybody. Let's say bye. I know. You want to go out too. All right, folks, thanks for coming around. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will catch you all in the next one. Say bye-bye, Nori. Just bump it into the microphone. All right, folks. See you all later. It's my ear.